Well, good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Jared Kushner testified before the Senate Intelligence Committee today and then spoke with many reporters right after. Watch.
Let me be very clear. I did not collude with Russia, nor do I know of anyone else in the campaign who did so. I had no improper contacts. Donald Trump had a better message and ran a smarter campaign, and that is why he won.
Ever heard Jared Kushner's voice before? Most people hadn't. You'll hear a lot more from him in a minute. But first, there's other news today. Democrats say they finally get it. They know why they lost the last election, and it was not actually because of Russian saboteurs. As Senator Chuck Schumer put it today in the New York Times op-ed, they lost because they failed to articulate an economic message that the middle class cared about. Now, to underscore that point, Schumer and House Leader Nancy Pelosi held their noses and ventured out into rural Clark County, Virginia today, a place they'd probably never been, but a place that voted for Trump by almost 20 points in November. While there, they unveiled a plan they are calling a better deal. It's basically the kind of soft economic populism that, in fact, Trump ran on in the fall, and pretty successfully. Things like lowering prescription drug prices, more attention to blue-collar jobs, an infrastructure plan for rural America. Interestingly, so far at least, there is not a single word about, I don't know, global warming, transgender bathrooms, bombing Moscow. It doesn't look very crazy, actually, and it might work if Democrats really meant it. But do they? Well, actually, we can check that. We have the tape. Here's what leading Democrats have been talking about in public over just the past 24 hours.
The president is clearly worried that Bob Mueller is going to be looking into allegations, for example, that the Russians may have laundered money through the Trump organization.
There's a cloud of illegitimacy that's hanging over the White House as a result of the possibility that there was improper or illegal collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia.
This drip, drip, drip of information, these revelations are doing exactly what I've already predicted, and that is it's going to lead right to impeachment.
Right to impeach. We're going to have a lot more on Maxine Waters later in the show, but wait a second. Where's the part about raising middle-class wages or rebuilding rural America? If that is such a priority for Democrats, why haven't they mentioned any of it in, I don't know, the last year? Today's supposed to be the launch of this new economic message, but flip on any of the other news channels, most of which are reliable barometers of what's important to Democrats. Do you hear anybody talking about the heroin crisis in New Hampshire or the lack of good-paying work in downstate Illinois? No, you don't. That's because they're talking instead about what they're always talking about. Trump's immoral, Vladimir Putin stole the election. That's the message, and for the foreseeable future, it will remain the message.